Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. Terry McLaurin's latest outburst has sent shockwaves through the entire NFL landscape, sparking a wave of whispers, theories, and heated debates behind closed doors. Rumor has it that the star receiver, known for his calm demeanor and leadership presence, finally reached a breaking point and let loose a line queuing up in every sports headline. Nobody on this team wants him back, the moment that quote escaped his lips if it truly did. Insiders claim the locker room dynamics shifted instantly. Players glanced at each other. Coaches froze. Staff looked down at their clipboards pretending they didn't hear it. It wasn't just a comment. It was a crack of thunder rolling through an already stormy atmosphere around the Commanders. The name he was referring to hasn't been officially confirmed, but the speculation machine is already spinning at full speed. Every slip, every stare, every social media like or unfollow is being dissected like an encrypted message. And now, with the franchise allegedly trying to downplay the situation, the tension feels even more electric. Fans are swarming comment sections, analysts are firing off takes, and the Commanders' facility has reportedly become a maze of tight-lipped personnel dodging direct questions. What's fueling this fire even more is the timing of the rumor, landing right when the Commanders are supposedly trying to reorganize their internal culture and set new standards for accountability. McLaurin, often described as the heartbeat of the team, has been praised for years as the guy who never lets drama overshadow professionalism. So the idea that he would be the one dropping such a nuclear remark is making insiders pause. Was it frustration finally boiling over? Was it a response to a situation the public hasn't been told about? Or was it something said in private and taken wildly out of context before being leaked? The locker room, according to whispers, has been tense recently as roles, expectations, and futures hang in the balance. Some claim that the unnamed player at the center of the controversy has been pushing boundaries for too long, rubbing teammates the wrong way with comments, actions, or off-field behavior. Others insist this is a massive misunderstanding, a blown out of proportion rumor meant to stir chaos in an already scrutinized franchise. Regardless of what's real, the sense that something deeper is brewing feels impossible to ignore. As the chatter spreads, more people are pointing toward subtle signs that something hasn't been right within the Commanders organization for a while. The body language on the sidelines, the quiet sideline conversations, and even the way certain players avoid eye contact during interviews have become puzzle pieces for fans and analysts trying to understand who McLaurin may have been referencing. The rumor mill is churning at full speed. Maybe it's a player who recently departed but left the door cracked for a return. Maybe it's someone who has been reportedly causing friction for months. Some say it could even be tied to a personality clash between veterans and rising stars. The speculation feels endless, and each new whisper adds another layer of intrigue. But the focal point remains the same. McLaurin, whether intentionally or not, has ignited a narrative that threatens to overshadow everything else swirling around the Commanders right now. And if he indeed said it as strongly as reported, it reflects a sentiment radiating beyond just one frustrated star. It hints at a fractured unity the team has been trying to mask. What's wild is how fast this rumor has gained momentum. Within hours of the alleged comment, social media erupted with fiery debates, memes, and fan theories trying to decode the mystery figure McLaurin supposedly doesn't want back. Former players chimed in cryptically, analysts posted eyebrow-raising emojis, and insiders teased that more information is coming. Even without official confirmation, the reaction has been explosive, enough to put the Commanders in an uncomfortable spotlight. People inside the organization are reportedly scrambling to get ahead of the narrative, holding internal discussions and urging players to stay quiet publicly. But the thing about silence is that it often amplifies suspicion instead of erasing it. The fan base, hungry for answers, is dissecting every quote, every sideline shot, every locker room rumor from the past year. For a franchise that has been trying to rebuild trust with its supporters, this is the kind of storyline that can derail momentum instantly. And if McLaurin truly voiced a collective sentiment shared by others, the team may be standing on the edge of a much bigger issue than a single controversial comment. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest this situation traces back months, maybe even longer, to an ongoing dispute involving effort levels, accountability, and commitment. Some voices claim that the player at the center of the situation had fallen out of favor due to repeated conflicts with teammates, or coaches. Others argue that the tension stems from internal competition, someone expecting a spotlight they never fully earned. Whatever the truth is, it's fueling a narrative that the Commanders' locker room has been a powder keg waiting for a spark, and McLAURIN, intentionally or not, may have lit the fuse. Sources close to the organization hint at private conversations where frustrations have simmered for too long, creating an atmosphere where one emotional slip could unleash the floodgates. Fans are now demanding answers, and the media is circling like sharks, sensing blood as more whispers surface. The situation is beginning to feel like the kind of long-buried tension that finally reached its breaking point, leading to the explosive line now echoing across every sports platform imaginable. Even though the Commanders have made no official comment, the silence is speaking louder than any press conference could. Players walking past cameras keep their heads down, giving quick, rehearsed answers that feel rehearsed and avoidant. Coaches are dodging questions, brushing aside inquiries with vague remarks about internal focus and staying united. If anything, these evasive responses only strengthen the rumor. Meanwhile, McLAURIN, the calm center of past storms, has become the unexpected epicenter of this one. Whether he intended to make a statement or simply cracked under growing frustration, his alleged words have created an earthquake that shows no sign of settling soon. If the Commanders can't contain this narrative, it could spiral into something bigger, something that forces hard conversations, unexpected moves, or a major shift in team culture. Until then, the football world watches with bated breath as the tension builds and the questions multiply. The story is evolving at such a rapid pace that insiders are claiming more revelations could surface at any moment. Rumor has it that several teammates privately agree with McLaurin's alleged outburst, but fear speaking up due to potential backlash from the organization. Some suggest that leadership figures within the team have been navigating behind the scenes, trying to keep things from escalating into a public meltdown. What's really feeding the fire is the suggestion that this isn't an isolated conflict, but part of a much broader divide that has been growing within the franchise. If that's the case, McLaurin's supposed statement might not be the spark, it might be the smoke from a fire that has been quietly burning for months. Fans who sensed tension last season are now pointing back at specific sideline exchanges and interview comments that felt off at the time, and now, with this explosive rumor hanging in the air, every one of those moments is being re-examined like a clue in an unfolding mystery. Whether the truth comes out soon or remains buried under layers of speculation, it's clear this story is far from reaching its final chapter. More than anything, what's sending the entire football community into a frenzy is how personal this rumor feels. It's not about stats, play calling, or performance. This is about relationships, trust, and unity, or the lack thereof. When a player like McLAURIN, who has built his reputation on professionalism and consistency, becomes the center of a controversy like this, it hits differently. It suggests something deeper, heavier, and far more complicated than a simple disagreement. Some sources claim that the unnamed player had been testing the patience of teammates for far too long, crossing lines that were previously tolerated but no longer acceptable. Others believe that McLAURIN might have been put in a position where staying silent felt like enabling an ongoing issue. Fans are desperate for clarity, and every hour without new information only intensifies the drama as commentators speculate wildly. The Commanders remain tight-lipped, a silence that grows louder with every passing moment. Meanwhile, rival teams are paying close attention, sensing an opportunity whenever a star player shows the slightest sign of frustration or internal conflict. Other franchises start circling like vultures, waiting to see if the tension might lead to trade conversations. And with a rumor this explosive, some executives are undoubtedly watching with keen interest, wondering whether this internal fracture could shake loose opportunities they never expected. But at the same time, no one truly knows how much of this is grounded in reality and how much is pure speculation, fueled by whispers. Some insiders insist the comment wasn't meant for the public, wasn't meant to be interpreted as a definitive stance, and may not have even been directed at the figure fans are assuming. But once a rumor takes on a life of its own, truth becomes blurry, overshadowed by the noise. And in this case, the noise is deafening. McLaurin's name is trending everywhere, becoming the gravitational center of a story that seems to expand by the minute. As tension escalates, the locker room dynamic is being scrutinized like never before. Analysts point to cryptic social media activity, players posting vague inspirational quotes, others staying completely silent. and a few subtly engaging with posts discussing the rumored tension. Fans interpret every emoji, every like, every absence of reaction as a signal. It's become a digital detective hunt. Some claim that this level of online ambiguity only feeds the narrative that the team is fractured behind closed doors. And while social media clues are often unreliable indicators of real internal tension, the current atmosphere is so charged that even the smallest detail feels significant. The Commanders, hoping to project unity, are facing an uphill battle as the public digs deeper and deeper into every player interaction. And at the center of all this analysis stands McLAURIN, now portrayed as the reluctant voice of a frustrated locker room. Whether he intended to be or not, what remains uncertain is how the team plans to move forward from this. A rumor this massive doesn't simply fade away. It leaves echoes, unanswered questions, and lingering doubts. If the locker room truly shares McLaurin's alleged sentiment, then the unnamed player has little chance of reintegration without sparking further conflict. But if the rumor is exaggerated or wholly false, then the team faces the equally difficult task of restoring trust and repairing public perception. Insiders hint at closed-door meetings, emotional conversations, and attempts to address concerns before the situation spirals out of control. But only those inside the building know how effective these efforts have been. From the outside, all anyone can see is a cloud of uncertainty hanging over a team attempting to craft a new identity. And until someone speaks on the record, the Commanders are stuck navigating a storm they didn't publicly acknowledge, yet cannot escape. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. One thing is clear, the ripple effect of this rumor will be felt long after the initial shock fades. McLaurin's name will be tied to this controversy whether he intended or not, and the unnamed player's shadow will loom over the franchise until the truth is clarified. For fans, this moment feels like watching the opening act of a drama they know will only grow more intense. For analysts, it is a puzzle with missing pieces, and for the Commanders organization, it's a test of leadership, communication, and unity in the face of a narrative that threatens to overshadow everything else until the smoke clears. Speculation will continue to swirl, and the football world will remain captivated by the fallout of one explosive line that may not have been meant for the public, but has now become the center of one of the biggest rumors circulating this season. Rumors are now spiraling into an entirely new dimension, as insiders whisper about just how far the emotional shockwave from McLaurin's alleged comment might reach. Some sources close to the situation insist that the tension brewing inside the Commanders' facility has reached a point where even casual conversations feel heavy, as if everyone is waiting for the next unexpected twist. The atmosphere, according to those familiar with the environment, feels like a room where someone whispered a secret too loudly, and now everyone is tiptoeing around hoping not to be the next name pulled into the storm. In the middle of all this, McLaurin is being painted as either the reluctant truth teller or the accidental spark, depending on who's interpreting the narrative, and the unnamed player, whose identity remains nothing more than speculation, has become almost a ghostly presence in the conversation, the shadow looming behind every whisper, every hint, every raised eyebrow. Fans are now convinced that something seismic is happening behind the scenes, something bigger than a simple disagreement, though no one outside the building truly knows. But the more silence builds, the more this feels like the kind of rumor that refuses to die quietly. What's truly wild is how this story has taken on a life of its own, transforming from a single whispered line into a kind of folklore circulating through social media, sports talk shows, and group chats across the league. It has become the storyline everyone wants to solve, like a mystery missing one last crucial clue. People are analyzing past interviews, sideline interactions, and even old practice clips, searching for evidence that might validate the idea. That frustration had been simmering long before this rumor erupted. Meanwhile, those close to the Commanders insist that the team is trying to refocus, attempting to keep internal conversations internal while the outside world builds theories from fragments. The speculation has grown so intense that even the smallest detail, a lingering camera shot, a subtle facial expression, an innocuous comment gets magnified into a potential revelation. And through it all, the narrative keeps expanding, feeding off the uncertainty like a wildfire gaining strength from the wind. If clarity doesn't come soon, this rumor may shape the entire perception of the team long before the truth ever emerges. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.